Good, good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for checking in with us, being here at our gathering. We're going to be talking about how money works for our clients and for realtors. I'm Marlena Rose Vihill, and I'm joined by Candy Martin, one of my financial educator um, partners. So it's going to be an overall. So save your questions for the end. We're going to do a Q&A, and let's take a look at some information we have for you. Where did you learn about money? That's a question that I've asked myself a lot of times. I've asked People have asked that question before when I've been in other presentations or webinars, and I have to stop and think, where did I learn about my money? My mom was a single mom back in the 60s. We lived with my grandma because my mom needed daycare, and I don't remember her talking to me really about money. I saw other people in the family dealing with it, but I wasn't really sure what was going on. And I don't think I much paid attention. But I remember being told that money doesn't grow on trees. So why would I want that piece of candy at the store? You ever hear that one? Or telling me to pinch my pennies. Or save it for a rainy day, put it away. Or if I really wanted something, we can't afford it. I don't know if you remember this, or maybe your parents did this, but I remember something called a layaway. And it was at either Kmart or Sears. And my mom would go and pick some clothes for me. And then they would put it in a box with tissue, and they would put it on a shelf with her name on it. And she would make payments as she could until she paid it off. And that was later. The clothes were laid away, and she was making payments on it until we could afford to get it out. If you've had those experiences, I have to smile because our parents did the very best they could for us. Now, we as realtors, and I've been a realtor for a long time. I have 30 some plus years in real estate and credit education. And we as realtors find ourselves sometimes dealing with buyers that have some life situations going on, but they really want to buy a house. And maybe they have a hard time hanging on to their budgets, or having a hard time to understand how to control their spending. So, that could come in forms of streaming services in Netflix or NFL or whatever else is out there. And then there's those late fees and overcharges on some loans or credit cards. Credit card debt is at an amazing, amazing, incredibly high. And something that we get involved with as realtors are credit report errors. At least we have knowledge about it of our clients. Just kind of bad financial habits because we're not taught this information in school. How do we learn these things? How do we know these things if our parents didn't have experience with them and they don't teach us? That's where I come in. And that's where I found that I come in. This chart below shows how saving a little bit every day can add up over a lifetime. Maybe putting away $10 a day, $5 a day. Total in a month, $5 a day is $150. Total over a year is $1,825. That's $1,800 they didn't have before. It's simple, but if we really don't think in those manners, we don't do it. We just don't do it. It's like saying we're going to go on a diet and not really doing it for a couple of days and not going any farther than that. And then our lenders, when we're trying to help when we're trying to get people qualified. Our lenders have to deal with pay stubs and bank statements, the insurance coverage. Maybe there's some retirement or investment account statements that need to be reviewed, and those loan and credit card statements. Now, I know that this can be all very overwhelming for buyers and lots of times for sellers to have to deal with. So back in 2008, my clients were having a really tough time trying to make ends meet, much less buy houses. And I was going through my mind, what can I do? How can I help? And I came across credit education. I started researching. I started looking into it. And it became exactly what I know that my clients and eventually I needed to do. I needed to know some more about this credit system. And so I've been teaching credit education to my buyers and to other classes and to the community for all those years. And you know that people have just knowing a few things about the credit system, learning the rules of that game, you can save anywhere from $200 to $500 a month. Yeah. See, with just getting a little bit of knowledge, how that empowers people. It empowered me, I know. As a financial educator, these 7 money milestones are things that we teach and show people how to use within their own financial monthly bill pay and tracking. Financial education is what we're talking about now. Becoming financially literate can change your entire life. And maybe even wanting to become a financial professional as well. You can bring in some extra money. And then there's that debt management. How to handle our debts. How to handle them, change some spending habits, solve to eliminate, sorry, tongue gets tied, solve to eliminate debts, and maybe somehow creating extra income. These are important steps to know. And they're just two of the 7. Candy and I were talking earlier, and she has an idea about giving our clients, people that are getting ready to wanting to buy a house, giving them a money saving jar. And I'd probably be talking a great big jar, and put it away and commit that you're going to put $1 a day into it, $5 a day into that jar to get you ready and to get you prepared, just as an elementary step for buying that house.
All right, Marlene, you did a great job. I mean, Marlene, 30 plus years in real estate. I mean, that's awesome. And I know you know a lot about real estate. And so we want to make sure that you stick around for the Q&A because we have realtors on here. I am not a realtor, but I am a fan. And looking at the houses, I think I would be a realtor just so I can show houses. I don't know if that equates to why I should be a realtor, but I love watching and looking at houses and things like that. So stick around. We definitely want to come back and glean on you for information in that, in that industry. And I'm sure you got some great stories that we could talk about offline about being in real estate. I can only imagine. And so I am very thankful that you came on board with us as a financial educator with the 7 Money Milestone Company, and we teach people how money works. And so I find that most of my clients, the majority of them, seriously, they get serious about their finances when they're ready to buy a house. I mean, so
right.
So it's a perfect marriage. As financial educators, we're able to educate our clients so that we can get them prepared for whatever major purchase that they would like to make. And so in most cases, purchasing a home. And so we do find that in our industry, we do have a lot of realtors because, like I said, it is a perfect marriage. So realtors, one of the things, because we are talking to realtors at this moment, But in any case, in any industry, but at this moment we are highlighting realtors. What keeps you up at night? As a realtor, are you thinking about how can I help my client? And as a client, are you thinking about how can I get my finances in order? As a realtor, do you ever think, okay, how many more houses do I have to sell to get ahead? And as a client, you're thinking, oh my gosh, if I can just pay off this debt, or some of the things that Marlene was just talking about, if I can just take care of certain things, get my cash flow. Like, what are you and as a realtor, are you wondering, like, hey, am I gonna be 98 years old having to show houses because I just couldn't get through? And as a client, are you thinking, am I saving enough? What am I gonna do when I get ready to retire? Who's gonna take it? As a realtor, if you don't show the house, you can't sell the house. So
Right.
what happens if you're under the weather? Like, do you have like an assistant that goes shows the house? Do they do a great job like you do? Because realtors are like a lot like like mama bears. Like we love what we do. We just can't nobody articulate the sale of this home like you can. You've already went through. You got all the specs. What kind of curtains. Which way to put the sofa. I mean, like you're just all invested in this house. But what happens if you can't go? You know, and generational wealth. As a realtor, are you able to pass your real estate business down to your kids? What if they don't want to sell houses? Like I love my son, and if he's watching this replay, mama love you. But I can't see him selling a house to nobody. Like he's like, look, does it have a sofa and a bed? That's all I need. So he would be like the worst realtor. So are you creating, so as a realtor, do you have opportunity to build generational wealth? Are you one of the big name firms, I won't call their name, that have thousands of realtors across the country? Or are you a single member realtor, if I'm saying that like Marlene? Is it just you? So what have you put in place to create generational wealth? Or are you like, hey, once I'm gone, that's it? So I want to go over a couple. I'm a numbers person. I love talking about numbers. I have a calculator, so I don't add fast. So that's not what I mean when I say I'm a numbers person. I like reading numbers, not adding the numbers. Okay, that's what the calculator is for. But I just kind of want to go over some statistics that I did when Marlene was telling me, like, hey, I want to talk to some realtors and I want to give them, Marlene has a heart for not just for giving homes to clients, but she also has a heart for realtors, making sure that they're taken care of. Because in the industry, from the conversation she and I have had, there isn't something automatically put in place to help you close the gap. That's kind of something you have to figure out on your own. And so Marlene has taken an extreme liking to making sure that realtors are taken care of, being a voice for realtors. So in this statistic that I'm only pick like two or three for the sake of time, but 52% of realtors, and this is from the year of 2022. So 52% of realtors with 2 years or less experience earned less than $100,000. So out of 100 realtors, 52 of them earned less than 100,000. And then out of the remaining 42% of realtors for that same year, but they had to have 16 years or more experience. Now, Marlene, she's an exception to the rule. She's been in the industry 30 something years. And then Marlene just had this great personality. People just want to buy from her. Like, hey, just sell me out. I need to get her secret sauce. But 16 years or more experience to earn $100,000. So that means if you've been in this 17 years and you earn $100,000, you're like, dang, I'm just giving this industry 16, 17, 20 years of my life. And I'm just barely crossing over 100 grand a year. You do the math, you divide that by 12. That's not even 10 grand a month. And so currently, about, throughout the US, the average home is valued at about $400,000 for someone to get to closing. They'll need some sort of plan to get to this, whether they're doing something with a lender or they have some savings or whatever their situation is. It's costing them about $400,000. And the commission on that to realtors averages about $12,000, which is great, right? $12,000 is a nice chunk of change for only showing about 300 houses to that one person who just couldn't make their mind up and they go back and buy the first house you showed them. Hey, I've been there. probably not the favorite person because I got to look at everything. I got to, so I can only imagine what you guys go through on a daily basis. But to get to 100 grand a year, you would need to close about 8 deals. And that's on the gross. And if you want to net, like really take home 100 grand, you would need to have about 10 sales in a year. And so that means you have to sell 2 houses a month. So think about it. 2 houses a month have to be closed, keys handed over, deal done. So what does that look like to get through just one sale? One client may want to look at 12 houses. You get all the way through, get to the lending, something doesn't add up, like with the credit or something, then they got to go back to the drawing board, lender denies the sale. Now you got to start back over. And you got to show this person 20 houses because she's just particular. She wants the house facing the west. It's just a whole nightmare. And then you get this one person who wants that particular house, but you're telling them this house is not feasible because it has so many problems. But she's like, no, this is the perfect house. It has my wraparound porch. I want it. But the inspector is saying this is a money pit. So it doesn't apply, so I can just go through different scenarios, but how many of those scenarios do you have to go through to get to 2 closings? Remember, you got to have at least 2 a month in order for this to work, for it to come out to 100 grand a year. So that's why I say realtors are like school teachers. You guys are in it because you love it. You're in it because you bought into the dream of helping people achieve the American dream. You love seeing homeowners go from renting this shabby place to getting a nice home of their own. You love the idea of them having a piece of real estate. I love the idea. Just talking about it, I'm like, okay, I might consider being a realtor. Yeah, I don't know. Think about it. All right. So I just kind of wanted to give you some of those ideas. So when you hear all the things that you have to go through, this is some of the behind the scenes of what your clients are dealing with as to why all the deals aren't just, they find a house, they pick a house, they go to closing all in a week. It has happened. I have heard the stories of people put a house on the market on Monday, on Saturday they're closing. I have heard of that. It happens. However, in the average everyday family, these are the things that they're dealing with. They're paying too much for insurance. The insurance, the PMIs, and all those things are just going to be through the roof. And they can afford the house, but not the insurance. The credit card debt is through the roof. They don't have any emergency funds, so if something happens, they're putting it on a card. The interest and the debt is just the debt to income ratio is whatever it's supposed to be. It ain't it. And they're living from paycheck to paycheck. They're trying to prove that they can afford the house because they're paying $2,100 a month rent. So clearly they can afford to pay a mortgage, but it's just not working out that way. And in all of that, they have not even had a chance to think about planning for retirement. So these are some of the situations that your clients are dealing with that you're trying to sell them a house to. They want the house, but what are their finances? Are they in a position to do that? And who's teaching them? You're already a realtor, and some of you are doing this part-time, so you already got a full-time job, or you're a stay-at-home mom, like you already got enough life. Do you have you want to teach them about how to get this together without getting compensated? I don't think so. So I want to talk to you a little bit about why Marlene and I kind of teamed up together because, like I said, remember one of her main concerns is making sure that realtors are okay. If there was ever an advocate for realtors, Marlene would be the poster child. 66% of people own a home. That means there are 44% that want one, don't have one. 48% of Americans have cable TV. That's, getting into your technology industry. Then 36% of Americans use Uber or Lyft. I mean, so they just kind of tell you what they're doing. But 100% of everybody that you meet need money in some sort of way. Whether they got a lot of money, whether they got a $10 million account, or they got little money, they got $10 to their name. And everybody in between needs some sort of financial education, some sort of financial help, some sort of financial vehicle or tool or resource. 100% of us, because I say us, because that includes us too, we need strategies for retirement. We're all going to check out of here one day. We don't know when. So, how they say, nobody's getting out of here alive. 100% of adults need financial education. Everybody. I don't care how shabby, how smart you are with money, you can always stand to learn more. If you're clueless about money, you can learn from financial education. And so, and then like Marlene talked about earlier about what her parents taught her, like, hey, money doesn't grow on trees. Or you can have parents that say, hey, put the money under a mattress. Why would I do that? Like, but whatever you learn, you can stand to learn more. And so as you can look on the other side of this slide that's on here, technology, we think technology is this booming industry, because it's everywhere. But it's not quite there yet. It will get there. But right now it's at 4.7 trillion retail. And I thought as much as women like to buy shoes, that retail was going to be a little bit more than it is, but it's at 7.3 trillion. Real estate. Hey, realtors, we're at $47 trillion a year. That's a lot. That's a lot, and that's not just from buying homes, that's commercial real estate included in that, that's land acquisition in that, that is the real estate classes, that all of everything with real estate is in that $47 trillion. So that's not just from home sales, that's from everything else that goes along with it. But look at the financial industry. That is your estate planning, your financial planning, your insurance, your investment, your budgeting software, your banks, anything dealing with money is earning $151 trillion a year. So if you add up real estate, retail, and technology, you add those up, it's not going to come to 150. It's not going to come to 151. So in the financial industry, I just want to kind of show you the numbers so you can see the possibilities of, hey, when I have this particular month where I don't sell a house, where do I get income from? Because remember, I got to get to 100 grand by the end of the year just to be comfortable. All right. I want to, like Marlene said, I had a couple ideas. So in our industry, in our financial education service that we offer clients, and as we help them navigate through getting the things that they need, getting their finances in order, or if their finances are great, how to make it better. So as financial educators, we get compensated to do that. Whereas realtors, you're doing that on, just kind of naturally. You just dropping nugget things that you learn, you share it with your client because you do want the best for your client before, during, and after the sale. So you're going to share with them whatever you can, but you're not getting compensated for anything except for the close of that house and earning your commission for selling the home. That's it. All the other things was just like free advice you gave. However, as a financial educator, doing those same things and the other things that you can do, you get compensated for that. So here in this example here that we have on the screen, if you help a family or individual save about $350 a month, and there are various ways we do that, you can get compensated for that. If you help 4 people in 1 month, $8,400. Now, you may be saying, well, I got to sell 2 houses to get to 10 grand, but if I can help 4 people, 1 a week, I can get to 80. Yep. Do the math. And so think about it as a real estate broker. If you're a real estate broker on with us or watching the replay, you have a team with you, or if you own a real estate agency, if you and 3 of your agents get together and do this for your client, look at the income that you can earn. This is the same business model as real estate. I often say it's very comparable to it. A person sells, a home, they earn their commission, but if them and their team do it together, so you just do the math. And in our business, in our company, particularly, we paid out more than $1.4 billion in commission. That's not the sales numbers. That is what we paid out in commissions here in our Wealth Wave team. $1.4 billion. You do the math. So there's enough for you to do this part-time. To do it part-time is like, I like to say part-time, being a referral partner with me, hey, I got a full-time job. I am a realtor and I love what I do. So maybe you'll just become a referral partner where you refer clients to us and earn a piece of this. Or then you can say, hey, only thing I do is real estate, so I do have some extra time. So then you become part-time. Or you can say, look, hey, if you're watching this and you're not a realtor or you don't quite have a career path at the moment, you can do this full-time. Or if you say, hey, look, I'm sick of selling houses, I'm tired of talking about curtains and sofas, I want a whole different career change, we welcome you full-time as well. So you can do referral, part-time or full-time, or you can start off as a referral and gradually work your way up, or stay as a referral partner. Whatever works best for you. We're here to help you do that in whatever capacity you find fit. So one of the things I want to leave you with before we open it up for Q&A is, do you talk to your friends and family about money? You know, we talk about shoes, we talk about pizza, we talk about movies, sometimes talks about politics, but are we talking about money? Do you or do your clients know their financial situation? Are we looking at our cash flow? Do we know what our assets are? Do we have an estate plan? Do we have insurance? What are our debts? And what are our clients? This is not just for our clients, but for ourselves too. Do some self-assessment here. Can we eliminate fees and charges and credit card debt? I know our clients can, because if not, it would be more than 66% of people that would own a home. So how can we help increase that number? Have they started out their goals? Have they thought about it? Have you thought about your long-term goals, your short-term goals? You know, how are your clients doing their budgeting, getting prepared to buy the home? And then once they have the home, how are they budgeting to make sure that they keep it? Because what you don't want to do is to sell someone a home and then you get ready to bring them a Christmas present a year later. They're like, oh, girl, we went through foreclosure. All right. Are we saving? Are we investing? Are we, you know, doing the things that we need to do to make sure that we're financially fit as professionals? So for the realtors or for the tax professionals that are watching this as well, what are we doing to make sure that we're okay? So that's our TED Talk for today. We are going to open it up for Q&A. If anyone have any questions, feel free to, let me make sure, feel free to unmute yourself. And I have a couple of questions that came in earlier, and so I'm going to ask Marlene those questions. But if anyone have a question for Marlene, or even myself, feel free to unmute yourself and ask.
I have something to add, Candy, is that
Yes.
I've been a realtor and the financial educator was credit. I was always believe in multiple streams of income. I'm not usually the thought minded person of it's coming from a job, it's coming from my sale of the house. I always have to have something else. I mean, in this real estate industry, we've been through the highs and the lows. We've been through COVID. We've been through all kinds of stuff. And the lows, I found myself living on credit cards. And then as soon as things start changing around, I would get paid a commission, and then I had to go pay all my debt off because that was what I was living off of for the time being. So when you talk to me about financial education, much as you're talking now, it just seemed the perfect blend, the perfect stream of teaching my clients, giving them access. That's a huge, big word. Access, giving them access to information so that they can decide what paths they want to take to buying the house, to other financial goals that they have, to dreams that they have for their kids. And it just fit right in and moved right along with what I was already doing. And still be able to have that extra stream of income.
Yes, the stress level definitely goes down. All right. So any questions from my Zoom audience before I get into the questions that I have for Marlene that came in? All right, any comments, concerns? All right, no complaints, I know.
No complaints.
No complaints, just comments and concerns. All right, so one of the things that I do want to ask you, Marlene, for realtors, do you find that some of them believe that they can only do real estate? Because I've come across some people thought maybe the real estate license was a conflict of getting financial education license or any other thing. Do you know what's the answer to that? Is there a conflict?
There isn't a legal conflict. The both industries are fiduciary, meaning that we have strict fiduciary laws that govern both being a realtor, having a realtor license, and having becoming a financial educator. I have had no problem in having my credit education business and now having my financial education all blend together.
All right, thank you. That's awesome to know. So I hope that motivates someone to pursue maybe just having a conversation with us to find out the details of becoming a financial educator and how we can help empower them in their financial flow, as well as how to better their, help their clients so that they can, just have their finances really, really knit tight. So my next question for you is, do you find that when clients get qualified for, and I don't know if I'm asking this right or using the right terminology, because I am not a realtor, or a lender, I'm not either. But when people get qualified for let's say a person gets qualified for a $400,000 house, like we had in our example, but as you work with them as a financial educator, perhaps you find that they may better fit with 250,000, so that they don't just get in the $400,000 house and then be stressed, for the duration. How do you explain that to them, that they know that you have their best interest and you're just not just trying to talk them out of a house?
So, and I don't ever want to talk somebody into or out of anything, but I want them to make wise decisions, and I want them to be able to have enough information that they can make their own decisions in the certain situations. So something we do as financial educators is we do a financial, I call it treasure map, but a financial look, penny by penny, what our clients, what their income is, what their expenses are. We take a look at how much they pay for their rent or where they're currently living, how much, if they have insurance, how much is that, the car, every single piece of what's coming into them and is they're putting out. And we take a look at that and we analyze it and we bring it before them and we say, let's see all of these parts. Let's have you take a look at all of these parts. And some of these things you don't even realize that you're spending $900 a year on coffee,
Wow.
or that you buy lunch every day. And maybe just a tweaking could get you closer to that house, could get you closer to where you want to be financially. Just a tweaking. Once we do that, once we've had that conversation and we know what their goals are and we know what they want to achieve and we know what they would like to put in place for their family, then we start doing research and looking for solutions and looking for possibilities. And we bring that back to the client and we educate them on what we have found and how it works. Might be two or three things that could help. And then with all of that knowledge and with all of that information, we let them decide what feels most comfortable and exactly which path they want to go. And then we help them do that.
Awesome, 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 Marlene. I love that. And I love the fact that here in our WealthWays business, we do our financial education. We work together as a team. So
That's right.
as I mentioned earlier, I may not be the best person to use to go show a house. Like, you may want to get somebody else that does that. But when it comes to financial education, we truly do work as a team. So as a referral, someone can be a referral partner, and rest assured that we're going to take care of their client, and that they'll earn their commission. Or if they want to come on part-time, they'll get the training. If they want to be full-time, you have the full leverage of your leadership, of your teammates, your business partners, helping you navigate through that with no cost to you. The training doesn't cost you anything. The participating together, we do that, and we have a foundational system that we use that works for all of us. And so I hope that you guys would take a look at what it is that we're offering you, an opportunity not just to close the gap in the income stream, but to also have a better financial outlook for yourself, for your client, for your community. And it is something that we love to do. Who doesn't love talking about money? So if you want to learn more about how money works as a client, as a potential business partner, or as a referral resource for your client, please don't hesitate to reach out to Marlene or even myself. And so get back with the person that invited you or shared this video with you. If you're watching the replay on a social media platform and you want more information, please put it in the comments. We will definitely follow up with you. But by all means, reach out to Marlene or myself or the person that invited you or shared this information. So Marlene, before we end, do you have any closing remarks for your audience?
Well, I have to just give you some kudos along this, helping me pay attention to this path that seems so obvious, but I was somehow overlooking. Not only, again, as I said, not only for my clients, but my own personal path, my husband and my own personal path. It has made an extraordinary difference. And the things we didn't even realize what was possible for us financially and for our retirement until we learned the 7 mile steps, until we learned the rules of the game. I always say, if somebody put down a Monopoly game board and didn't read the rules and you were trying to play, you wouldn't understand that you got $200 going around the corner every time you go around the corner, or how to buy that property, or how to collect that rent. You wouldn't understand. So all you have to know is the rules of the game. And it's fun,
Exactly.
and it's wonderful, and it's rewarding. And to see our clients, the kind of lives that they have created by things that we were able to bring to their attention, is just overwhelming. Thank you, everyone,
Love
for
it.
coming. We appreciate you.
Thank you guys. Thank you all for coming. Talk to you later.
Bye-bye.